Alright, so in this video, we're going to talk about the best Harley Davidson for riding in the city. Let's check it out. Alright, what's going on YouTube? FXDLSBROOKLYN is back in the building. We're out here with your girl Jenny, of course, and the good old Harley Davidson 1988 FXR. He's marking his territory. Ooh, now that's a startup. Yeah, so this was a topic that has actually been requested a good amount of times through comments on the channel. Specifically, I did a video like 2 years ago where I was making the argument that I think that if you live in a city, such as New York City, that a motorcycle is 100% one of the best ways to get around, and I do believe motorcycles make sense for city environments, right? So on that particular video, a lot of the questions that I was getting was, okay, so that being said, you know, you're making this argument in terms of Harley Davidsons. Which Harley Davidson do you think is going to be the best bike for the city? Check this guy out. And notice I am prefacing this by limiting this to Harley Davidsons, because if we are going to be realistic here with modern technology and we're thinking about what's going to be the best bike for a city, it's probably not going to be in the realm of a Harley Davidson performance wise, right? But again, if you're someone where you're like, yep, I definitely know that I want to ride a Harley, that's the bike I want to ride, I'm going for that feel, I'm going for that classic American iron, brother. Well, then the question is, you know, if you are doing a lot of city miles like I'm doing, well, what's the best tool for the job, right? Alright, so first and foremost, yes, I have an opinion on this, but at the end of the day, I really want to know what you all think. Your experience is definitely been helpful for me and been very enlightening to me as I make these videos. So again, I'll say it towards the end, but please let me know your own feelings and opinion on this in that old comment section, because yeah, I'll give you my opinion, but all of you all who are watching this, whether you ride in the city or not, you all let me know, you know, what do you all think is the perfect Harley Davidson for doing city miles? So yeah, my opinion, why don't we just cut right to the chase? So you all know at this point I've spent a good amount of miles on all of the major Harley Davidson platforms, right? The most miles, of course, is on a Dyna, right? But I've done a lot of Sportster miles, I've done bagger miles, and I've been doing FXR miles for the better half of a year at this point. So after all that, you know, originally what I thought, because there was a year or two, if you all followed me in the early days back in like 2016, even though I had my Lowrider S, I still kept my Sportster around just because I thought, like, yeah, this bike is perfect for the city. It was reliable, it was really easy to throw around, you know, and in terms of parking that thing in the city, if it got stolen, it wasn't really that big of a deal. Well, yeah, I mean, it would suck, obviously, but, you know, it's not like a brand new 2016 Lowrider S getting stolen. And, yeah, it was just really easy to throw around, and I always thought that that was kind of the perfect bike for New York City, for Brooklyn, until I started riding the bike that I'm riding right now, my 1988 FXR, which, you know, from the first days until now has been kind of an epiphany in terms of my Harley Davidson experience. You know, I've said it before, I've said it again, you know, in terms of frames, this particular frame, I feel like fits me better than any other frame, right, including a Dyna. But now in terms of city miles, why I'm going to make the argument that I do think that this is a better tool for the job than, say, a Sportster, is because the Sportster's all well and good, right? You're going to throw that thing around. It seems like the logical choice if you're putting down city miles. But the thing about putting down city miles is you're also going to be in situations where you could be doing highway speeds, right? Like right now, I'm on this road. I'm not, you know, I'm still technically in an urban environment, but in another 5 minutes, I'm going to be on a highway, right? So all cities are connected by all major highways. So if you're riding in the city, chances are at some point you are going to be on the highway doing highway miles. Now, if you've ever ridden a Sportster, unless you've done some pretty serious performance upgrades, you know those bikes do not want to be doing highway miles, do not want to be doing highway speeds, and if they are doing highway speeds, you do not want to be doing it for an extended period of time. The beautiful thing about a Harley-Davidson FXR, like the one that I'm on right now, is it really can handle any type of riding. If you're just going to be doing a bunch of city riding, stop and go, it's going to be great. I could still throw this bike around in a comparable way that I could throw around a Sportster. Now, the beautiful thing about the Harley-Davidson FXR is now when I hop on the highway, like I'm about to hop on, it's happy, right? This bike is very happy between 70 and 80 miles per hour. Like, that's where this bike lives. Whereas if I'm doing that with a Sportster, I feel like the bike is going to blow up and fall apart. Of course, my frame of reference here is I'm talking about a 1988 Iron 883. Actually, I don't think they were called irons back then, so a 1988 883. The fact that the FXR is just so versatile, right? And when you do have to hop on the highway, right, and you are doing those highway speeds, it's going to handle it like a champ. But then when you get back to your stop and go or your tactical maneuvering of a, you know, typical city environment, it's also really, really easy to throw around. It has that lightness. It's a smaller frame. So that being said, that's why I'm making the argument that in terms of the realm of Harley-Davidson, I really do think that this is your best bet. Now, I know what you're saying, like the technology, they have the new Sportster that comes with the 1200 in it. I actually think that was a good move by the company. I like that bike, right? It's got the classic AMF paint. And they also got the new Sportster S, which I'm really curious about. I watched a couple moto vloggers cover that bike. I think I watched Her Two Wheels video cover that in its entirety, and still really curious about it. I think it's I kind of just need to get on that bike and ride it to tell you what I think. But maybe that's your competition in terms of a bike that's going to crush it in the city. But now my argument again for, you know, if I'm a new rider and I plan on doing a lot of city miles and I want to optimize my experience, my other argument for going the FXR route, again, talking about this in the fall of 2021, you can get, if you find the right deal, right, if you're persistent enough, even though there is a lot of hype around this bike and there is still a lot of hype around the Dynas, you can find an FXR that will run in the 5K to 6K range if you look hard enough, right? That being said, if you're trying to buy like a brand new Sportster, or you're trying to buy, say, the brand new Sportster S, you're gonna be laying down well over 10K, right? So, I don't know, I feel like given that you could still get these bikes for somewhere in the 5K to 7K range, to me, kind of makes it a no-brainer. Now, that being said, the counter argument of that, especially with this bike, is when you do, you know, make the commitment of putting an FXR in your life, there's going to be a period which I'm still in now, where you're going to have to put in some work to get that bike running right. You know, I'm almost there with this bike, right? I'm really happy with the performance, right? But there's still a couple things. There's still a couple kinks that need to be worked out. And that's like after, say, $2,000 of work, parts and labor included, later. And I'm still working out kinks with this bike. So I don't know. Maybe, you know, that being said, maybe the correct route to go is the new technology, one of the newer Sportsters, you know? But at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning of the video, I would prefer to leave this up to you all. You all let me know in that old comment section down there, what do you all think? If someone is signing up to put themselves through a lot of urban riding, which bike is the best tool for the job if we're talking about Harley-Davidsons? Let me know below. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. Stay low. A major shout out to all my Patreon supporters. Could not be doing this without you. And on that, FXDLSBROOKLYN is out.